In this video I did last year reviewing a bad Free Strike Formula episode, I received a comment saying I should do a video reviewing good episodes with the formula, so let's do it. Instead of just simply reviewing one that I like, I'm going to go through what I think is the best episode to use that formula. James Works It Out. The episode starts with the usual hit and nitrogen era intro. So and so likes to blah 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 blah, you know the drill. Thomas, James and Stanley are preparing trucks for Great Waterton. Stanley proceeds to compliment on James's shunting, which makes James, as you can imagine, have the desire to show off by showing how easily he can shunt Hector, because of course he'd take the chance to show off what he's capable of. A perfect in-character moment for him. I love it. As it starts to snow, Hector warns James that he should check with the yard manager about the weather. Now here's where things really begin to shine for James Works It Out. James says no, as he doesn't want to be told what to do by, out of all things, a truck. Usually in the average Free Strike Formula episode, a character would say no because they have another goal in mind, or disagree with what they have been told, or any other sort of garbage they throw in for the silliest of reasons without too much thought it may cause contradictions, etc. But James ignoring Hector, keep this in mind. James sets off to Great Waterton and the train arrives at a signal where they bump into Harold, who notifies them that the conditions are worsening. Hector then advises the train travels through Henry's tunnel. However, James being James, again, does not listen and decides they will travel through Shen Valley. By the time they arrive at the Shen Valley junction, the snow had become super thick, which obstructs James's view. We're shown a really nice POV shot from Hector, a great shot to use when working with the limited options for filming angles during the model era. James goes down the wrong track, which isn't his fault, it's the signalman. Engines don't control points, so for the episode to portray it as his mistake makes zero sense. You signalman, you caused this. Anyways, after bumping into Edward, he realizes he's taken the wrong route and begins to worry about the weather conditions, actually showing concern about the current predicament he's in. Something that a lot of Free Strike Formula episodes don't do until it's too late. Hector pipes up and says Edward helping would be beneficial by pulling from the front to get up the hill, but James isn't having it for obvious reasons. Now you're probably thinking, but doesn't that just contradict what you say about the episode portraying James acknowledging the predicament he's in and showing worry for the situation before it's too late? No, it doesn't contradict anything, because in the majority of Free Strike Formula episodes the character would do something and then go, ah well, and then carry on goofing off doing whatever. In this episode, James acknowledges the situation he's in and feels worried about it.
James was worried.
And he only didn't let Edward help because Hector proposed the idea. But more on that later. After a tough struggle, James puffs up the hill. Hector, who notices a snowdrift, tells James to speed up so to avoid getting stuck. So in typical James fashion, he goes against it, so applies his brakes, and the train gets stuck. James reflects on the situation and realised that Hector was right. He was only trying to help him get to Great Waterton safely. So he changes his ways by trusting Hector and takes his advice. They go up the hill, bash the train from the drift and make it to their destination safely. And that's the episode. So then you may wonder what makes this the best Free Strike Formula episode. Well, you know how James doesn't want to be told what to do by a truck? Considering the era this episode came out and what followed it, for the average person it may just simply look like reckless decision making. I call that reasonable decision making. Think about it. Hector is a truck. And what a truck's like on Sodor.
We've broken away, we've broken away. Chase him, bump him, throw him off the rails, they yell.
They cause accidents and mayhem. They earned the nickname Troublesome Trucks for a reason. As a result of their behaviour, you know how the saying goes.
Every wise engine knows that you cannot trust trucks.
The trucks over the years haven't exactly made a good impression of themselves. They also love control and being possessive, as they only like to be pulled and pushed by certain engines at certain times, and if that doesn't go their way, You know what's coming. Oh, and let's not forget that James has also been unfortunate enough to have fallen victim to these monsters. And another thing, in Hector's debut episode, Hector the Horrid, the first James sees of Hector is him causing trouble for Bill and Ben. So to James, Hector is just like every other truck but worse. And at the finale of the episode, as much as he is shocked to see him coupled up to the back of the train, he remains unaware about Hector's growth as he never questions what happened. And for those that say, but seeing him coupled up should make him aware that Hector has changed, no it doesn't. Yes, trucks can behave at times when being transported, but that doesn't mean they are suddenly good. We've seen this before where they've played the long game where they will wait for a certain time, then boom. And considering that Hector is much larger and much more heavier than all the other trucks, if Hector was to start being troublesome, it could cause a lot of damage and a lot of trouble for James and the train's deliverer. Oh, and also something to keep in mind is that if James actually listened to the trucks and it ended up causing an accident, James would likely get the blame for it because it's something that the Fat Controller has a habit of doing for some reason. The trucks never actually get blamed for their actions. The Fat Controller will either blame the engine pulling the train or no one at all. A perfect example is in Percy's predicament. So after everything I've just explained, James has zero reason to trust Hector, a truck. It's completely understandable and reasonable. From James's perspective, Hector could have been telling him to check with the yard manager to delay the train. He could have been telling him they need Edward's help so as to cause an accident for both of them and mess up the delivery. He could have been telling James to charge down the hill so potential damage and derailment could happen. After all, hills are a good spot for trucks to take their chances. What makes this episode work so well is that each strike is so understandable. It's repetitive, that's for sure, but it's not made over something stupid unlike how more than enough episodes show. It's also an episode where a character maintains their growth from a previous story. Hector. I'm not really a fan of sympathetic villains, but it's really a breath of fresh air to see someone who went through a character arc have it remained intact in a Thomas episode in this era. Thank you very much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have a different opinion on what your favourite Free Strike Formula episode is, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. That's all from me for now. Adios.